Today I'm going to be reorganizing this whole section here of the apothecary. So you're gonna know every single thing that's on this shelf. I'm gonna give you some tips if you're trying to build your apothecary of which herbs that you actually need to get started. I'm also going to tell you different ways that you can organize your apothecary depending on what your particular needs are. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna start over here. This little section here is actually by plant family. So this is my Rosehips family, which is a rose family, which has hawthorn in it. So this is hawthorn leaf and flower. I got this from Jean's Greens. It's a little bit different than using the hawthorn berry, which I have here. And so on this shelf, I only have pretty much about this size jar and this size jar. Mostly I have some smaller jars, but then like the biggest one is here. This one's gonna move. And then I have like jars like this, but this is my smaller. So like this is my grab and reach and go. Whereas I have more of some herbs, like I have more of the hawthorn, but that's a bigger jar. And so I have that elsewhere. So I keep the bulk storage like upstairs in my closet because we don't have that much shelf space and storage space to give up. So this is hibiscus. This is not in the family, but you'll see why I'm reorganizing. So hibiscus, this is actually called the calyx, and it's usually say hibiscus flower. I really love this for all of my teas to drink. It gives that beautiful red color, but it's really wonderful for the blood and the stomach. So I really like that. This is wild yam. As you can see. All right. And I like to use that for all kinds of stomach issues. It's anti-spasmodic, so it can help with cramping and all that stuff. This I just keep here so I can have some scoops here. These are wooden scoops. I got this from Mountain Rose Herbs. You can also get this on Amazon. This is actually rose, but this is Rosehips. And I have different assortment of sizes of them. I keep these old labels, even though this is not the Rosehips that I have. I like to keep it just on the top like this. And so, and this was also in the same family, and this is raspberry leaf. Raspberry leaf is actually in the rose family. And so is blackberry. So that's that. This is raspberry leaf. I talk about raspberry leaf a lot. Wonderful, especially for pregnant women. Nice source of iron. It's diuretic and strengthening to the uterus. Astragalus root. As you can see, I have astragalus slices here, and then I have the cut and sifted root. And depending on what I'm doing, I'll use either or. I like to use the bigger pieces when I'm making a syrup, and the smaller ones I usually keep too when I make teas for people. I usually will have it like this, smaller. All right. We also have wild cherry bark. This, I can move this or get some more of it or move it to another jar, because usually you don't want it to be where you have it so much air in here. That's one way you don't want to store your herbs. And I love to use these plastic lids whenever possible. So I'm going to have to pick up more of those. All right. So now we're into this a little bit. So the obvious way, number one, that you can organize your herbs is alphabetically, of course. And so that means, you know, A to Z. And you can also use some of the other ways that I'm going to talk about and then do it alphabetically too. So this is Rehmania root. As you can see, it's a very dark, it's a black root, very like oily, sticky, hard to even break apart. Yeah, so let me know if you guys A or B. So I'm thinking of doing a video either on African herbs or Asian herbs. So let me know, or Chinese herbs, I mean, not Asian herbs. Because I'm not gonna really, I probably would, or I guess I could do Asian herbs, because then I could put some Indian herbs in there too. All right, this is Eleuthero. Eleuthero is also known as Siberian ginseng. I really love this. This is one of the adaptogens that I like to use the most. So the next way, let's go ahead and talk about the next way that you can organize is by plant family, which is what you saw me do there. You saw me put all my Rosehips family plants together. As I said, that's a rose family. You can do that with mint, and I also do that with mint. So once I get to where my mint is, you'll see that I do that too. Another way you can do it is by plant parts. So as you can see, I had a lot of roots and berries and things that need to be decocted, which is instead of just steeping it you know, for 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. Instead, you decoct it usually at least, you know, 20 to 30 minutes, depending on what it is. It could go 15 minutes. And so, yeah. So this is Shatavari. This is coined as the woman with 100 husbands. This is an Indian herb. It is an adaptogen as well. So you can also do it by the types of herbs. So like I said, a lot of my adaptogens are over here, and I'm going to break that down a little bit further later on in the video. You can have alterative herbs. And sometimes, you know, of course, there's overlap. You can have your carminative herbs together. I'll break down what all of those terms mean when we get to it. I just want to make sure I'm talking and moving. This next one is wormwood. So this is Artemisia. So I could have mugwort with this, you know, all the Artemisias together. Okay. Wormwood actually is, there's Artemisias and wormwood that are native to Africa. So that actually goes into African herbs. That one, I have this. It's very bitter, just bitter. You don't get sweetness or anything with that. But it's anti-parasitic. And so that's why wormwood is used. Predominantly why it's used. But it can also be used as a bitter, but it's very strong. So it's not like your everyday herb. Rhodiola, another one of those adaptogens. As you can see, it's a root. This is Arctic root. And I want to say, yeah, Arctic root is one of the terms for it. And I really like that as well. I like Eleuthero and Rhodiola to really use those as opposed to some of my other ones. I feel like those are more on the safer side. Rhodiola is more warming than Eleuthero, but also have ashwagandha, and this is the powder, and I do have this powder just because I make like little herb balls, or to add into like baking and stuff. You can add a little bit of ashwagandha. It does have some bitterness, but does have some sweetness and like a kind of bland flavor. So you can, you know, as long as you have this, as long as you have the, you know, the sugar or the honey content or whatever kind of sweetener, the ashwagandha is a good addition. And it's, you see the color of it, so it's not gonna really change your baked goods very much in color. All right, so we already talked about by alphabetically in order, plant family. The next one is by the body part. So you can do it by putting all the long herbs, you know, together, all the expectorant herbs together. And expectorant just helps to get, you know, excess mucus and all of that. So you can put all of those together, all the ones that are associated for like the wild cherry bark I can have with other herbs like mullein, Elecampane, that are really known for the lungs. And then you can have some that are really known for the stomach, you know, like that's where all your mints would be. But like the wild yam, usually used for like for the stomach. So, you know, you can put them in categories based on that. The next way is you can do it by country of origin. I kind of briefly talked about that. So you can have all of the Chinese traditional herbs, the Ayurvedic herbs, which is Indian medicine. You can have all of the African herbs. And I kind of do that on the wall over here. I have my rooibos next to my honeybush and next to my frankincense and my myrrh. Like you can kind of put it together like that. You can also do it by color. So you could do it by, you know, all of the yellowish herbs, the reds. You can do it like that too. I don't think it's as practical, but that is a way you can do it. And you can, as I said, you can do it by the type. So you can do the flowers all together. And a lot of times flowers will be used together. You can have leaves, but of course there's going to be so many leaves. So that's not as practical. You might want to also alphabetize that section. All of your roots, berries, you know, whatever. You could do it that way. So this is Echinacea root. I'm sorry, this is Echinacea. This is the herb. So this is the aerial parts, what's above ground. So leaf, maybe I don't see any flower bits in here. So this is mostly looks like leaf. And then this is spearmint. So again, this is just, you know, a mint, cut and sifted mint. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. Just moving some herbs back here. All right, let's keep going. So on the side here, I just have some packages of herbs. So I think this is a blend that I made, possibly. This is why you should, oh yeah, this is a blend that I made for someone. And I could definitely tell that it had St. John's wort in it. And so that's how I know. But you should definitely write what is on there. I have some empty ones that I leave here. And this one's some oregano. No, sorry. This is some peppermint here. And this one's oregano. I don't know if I talked about it when I took it off the shelf. All right. Next, so this must be my yellow dock root, Rumus crispus, nice name. And you can see the color of it, very pigmented. That's another one that could be like in your alterative or put in the root section. Both of those would really make sense. This is Coltsfoot. This is a leaf. This is one of those lung herbs, really known for the lungs. So again, it can be grouped in that section. Next, I have Elecampane. So as you can see, I kind of had some kind of system to how I put my herbs together. I had my roots here, and then I had these two, the long ones together, Elecampane. Elecampane is how people pronounce it. Sometimes, you know, the way you pronounce the herbs is a little different than how you might think. This is lion's mane. I didn't put anything on here, but I do have a video showing how I made an extract with this and also how I dried it. So if you're interested in that, I'll try to remember to link that down below. Next, we have Shepherd's purse back here. A lot of the herbs in the back are the ones that I don't really use, but when they're indicated, I know to check all the way in the back. So Shepherd's purse is nothing different than that. Not used all the time, but when it's indicated, it's so indicated. So it's good to have. All right, so next, let's see. So we went through the different ways. So there's actually 5 or about 6 ways that I just gave you on how you can actually organize. So now the earth that you want to start with. I always say that it's important for people to have at least 2 different roots. You want one that's really for the alterative purpose, and alterative is just the herbs that are known as blood cleansers or blood purifiers. So they also have that diuretic. They can help you get rid of toxins and waste. And so there's plenty of different herbs that can be in that category. And it's not even just roots, but some roots that I would definitely say is definitely have some burdock root, either, you know, that dandelion root. If you're just choosing one, those I would put, you know, at the top of some of the roots that you might want to use for that purpose. The next type of root that you want to have is you want to have one of those adaptogens, and those help the body to adapt to stress. These are herbs that are meant to be taken over a period of time. A lot of these can actually help you where you have like you don't even have a foundation of immune system, and so you're chronically getting ill or getting the same illnesses all the time. A lot of those are really wonderful. I would say Astragalus I really like for that. And it doesn't have to be technically a root. So it can be like Reishi, which is a mushroom. You can have that. I really love that as well. And these, a lot of times, and even Ashwagandha, all 3 of those are really used for people that are like chronically ill. Even Astragalus is used for children that are going through chemo. Reishi is also used for chemotherapy. So these are used with the people that have like no immune system and really need that support and really need that building and that strength. And so I think that that's really important, because whenever someone says, oh, I'm chronically getting, like I have a problem, I'm always getting sinus infections, I'm always getting, you know, XYZ, then definitely I start looking into that deeper support there. Okay. Spilanthes. So this is also toothache plant. I planted some seeds. I think that they are coming up. So hopefully I do get some of this fresh. So this is a leaf here. You can use this fresh in the garden and it will numb your mouth. The actual flower buds, if you put it in your mouth, it will numb your mouth, which is really good. So that's what I use for toothache. It also has like a nice tingle. So I have this in a recipe in my sore throat honey. Spilanthes is really good for your mouth health and your throat health. So really wonderful. And it has a nice taste as well. So I really like it. And that's why I also had this next to my Echinacea, because again, the Echinacea gives you that tingle and everything as well. And I'm out of it, but peppermint, those 3. I love those for when it comes to throat and mouth health. This is small. This is Schizandra Berry. And sometimes it's spelled with an S or Z, Schizandra. This is another adaptogen. This is another one of our Chinese herbs here. So as you see, I had those together. This is motherwort. Motherwort is also another mint family plant. This is a bitter plant and really known for the heart, especially. Also for the stomach. All right. Next we have olive leaf. And so I didn't really have a section to put this in other than, you know, with like leaves. I do think that this could be good for putting it with nutritive herbs. So herbs that really give your body nutrition. So that's where it gets the nutritive part from. So that's another category that you can, you know, put it in. All right. So what's another herb that I think is really needed? I would definitely say a mint, some kind of mint, because that's wonderful for all kinds of stomach aches, and it's safe for children as well. So any kind of upset stomach or PMS, it's used for PMS. Also, you know, if you're pregnant and you have nausea, so all kinds of things. I really like that. I feel like a mint is really needed.